Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be talking about how to survive a busy college semester. That's just what I chose to title this video because that's what's relevant for me, but I think this can apply to any kind of busy time of your life, whether you're in college or high school or you're just busy with life stuff. Because I think we all go through just like ungodly busy periods in our lives where it's just difficult to get everything done and still like maintain your sanity. If you guys have been on my channel for a little while, you probably saw that last semester was very rough for me. If you're new here and you don't know who I am, I'm a senior in college and I've definitely had like really busy, really tough semesters before. I tend to take a lot of classes and I have a couple of jobs. I just have a lot of things on my plate. But last semester specifically, I almost died. Like I almost died. I had way too much on my plate. I had way too much going on. And so through that experience is kind of where I'm pulling my tips. The things that helped me through that experience and kind of looking back on it, the things that I wish I had done differently. So hopefully some of these tips will be helpful for you today. Feel free to leave your best tip down below in the comments. I would love to see it and I can always use your advice because I'm pretty much always busy. Thankfully, I like being busy, but sometimes it can just be a little too much, you know? So I have 10 tips to get through today, so let's just get started. Before we get into the tips today, I do want to thank Study Amino for sponsoring today's video. Amino is a really cool app that has tons and tons of different communities for pretty much any interest you can think of. It's a great place to make new friends, learn something new, or express yourself through like making blog posts or participating in chat rooms and all different kinds of features. Study Amino is just one of their little subcategories for people who want to talk about studying or share their best tips, share their best note-taking tips, get inspiration from other people, chat with other frustrated people who are in the trenches of studying. Personally, what I've been using it for is seeing other people do something that I need to do. I find like very inspiring and motivating, the same way like watching someone be productive in a vlog like makes you want to be productive. So I really like going on there and seeing everyone's like really neat notes with like very clear handwriting because I've always wanted neat handwriting and it just hasn't happened for me yet. We're going into the chat rooms and just seeing everyone kind of cheering each other on. It's just a very friendly community where you can hang out with other people who are doing something similar as you. So I'll leave the link to Study Amino down below in the description as well as my username if you want to come follow me and we can like chat and be friends on there. It's super easy. Just click the link in the description and you can download the app for iOS or Android. Once you're in the Amino app, all you have to do is search for studying and then you can find me by just search my username, which is just Katesbookdate. Okay, so now I'm gonna get into the tips. My first one kind of goes off of that sponsor, and that is find things that motivate or inspire you and find yourself a community support system. I think having people in your life who are going through something similar as you are, not to necessarily like give you advice or to help, just having someone to vent to is very nice. One of my good friends last semester was also having a very busy semester and neither of us could like help the other, but just I would complain about my stuff, she would complain about her stuff, and then we would both just study. And having that was actually kind of nice. My second tip is to make to-do lists the night before. This is something I've been doing for a long time and I find it so helpful for many different reasons. You guys have probably seen me do this in my vlogs. For one thing, I feel like it helps me sleep better because it just like gets everything down on the page so I'm not worrying about it right before I go to sleep because I'm not like worrying I'm not gonna remember to do something because I already wrote it all down. It also helps me prioritize so I see everything that's coming up. Nothing's gonna surprise me. I know what's coming up and I know what I need to accomplish for the day, so it kind of helps me plan the day better so I don't like get to like 5 o'clock at night and I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to do that. No, I knew I had to do that. It was on the to-do list. Tip number 3 is be productive in the mornings. This is obviously like a personal thing, but I really think mornings are the best time to be productive. It's time when I'm the most productive, especially if you don't have morning classes. Like don't just sleep in, use that time wisely. And even if you do have like a morning class, like one that starts at 10 o'clock, do you have any idea how much stuff you could get done between like 6 and 8 a.m? Because no one else is awake at that time to bother you. You don't really have any distractions. It's quiet. I love waking up early and getting things done, and then you just feel so accomplished because it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon and you've done like everything that you need to do for the day, and then you have all of this time. Whereas if you wait until like 7 p.m. to go to the library, you're gonna be tired from everything that you already did that day. You're not gonna be motivated because the sun went down and you just want to go like be lazy or go to bed. Being productive in the mornings has saved my life. Like literally the other day, I woke up at like 6 and started an essay and I had it done by like 8 a.m. And I was just done with that huge task before it was even 8 in the morning. Do you know how good that felt? Tip number 4 is to plan ahead. This one's kind of obvious, but what I like to do at the beginning of a semester, especially if I know I'm taking a lot of classes and I have a lot on my plate, is to put every single thing that you know of at this point that's going to happen in the semester on a calendar. This helps you see what's coming up just over the entire semester and helps you see if like you're gonna have one week where there's a lot of things due, a lot of big things due. And so that kind of gives you a warning, knowing that you're gonna have to work ahead in preparation for that week, so it's not super overwhelming. Like if you guys saw last semester, I had one week where I had like 7 huge research papers due and I almost died. Even with planning ahead, I still almost died. But if I hadn't planned ahead for that, I don't even know what would have happened to me. Tip number 5 is to make use of your small amounts of free time. If you have like little breaks between your classes, for example, like you have an hour break between this class, an hour break between this class, it'd be easy to just like go watch an episode of Netflix or go hang out with your friends or just waste that time. But if you use those little chunks of time to be productive throughout the day, you'll like start to chip away at all of the things you have to do. So it kind of helps make big projects feel less overwhelming because you're going at it like little bits at a time, and you could be surprised by how much stuff you can get done by just doing like little bits throughout the day. And then, like I said, you're not there at like 7 o'clock at night and have all of these things to do, and then it's like super overwhelming because you have so many tasks. Even if it's not that much, even if it's just a bunch of smaller tasks, when you're looking at like a list of things to do, that can be really overwhelming. So if you just use those little blocks of time to finish the small things, having those things checked off of your to-do list are very nice. Tip number 6 is don't be afraid to ask for extensions. This is something I don't think I ever really took advantage of until last semester. I don't know why, I just felt like asking for an extension was like accepting defeat. But honestly, most of your professors are going to be super understanding, and they don't really know what's going on in other classes for the most part, especially if you have like different majors or different minors. They have no idea what other professors are doing. So if you go up to them and you're just like, hey, I've got 5 research papers due this week, is there any way I can get an extension on yours? In my experience, every time I've ever asked, they're like, yeah, of course, like, oh my god, I didn't realize that much was going on. If you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. And most of the time, professors would really prefer that you take a little bit of extra time on something and then turn in something of quality than, you know, like a rushed half-assed version, because then they have to read that and they have to grade that and they don't want that. Tip number 7 is to prioritize your health. I feel like it's super easy when we're busy to just neglect ourselves and just prioritize literally everything else first, and we're not getting enough sleep, we're not eating well, we let the gym and fitness go on the back burner, and we're just not taking care of ourselves, which is stupid. Because when you're at your healthiest, it's when you're going to be your most productive and your most efficient. When you're tired and you're hungry and eating foods that are bad for you and you're not exercising, you're not going to be performing as well as you would be if you were feeling good and healthy. So pencil in your gym sessions, and those parts of your days are just as important as the study sessions. Make sure you're getting 8 hours of sleep every night. Make sure you're drinking lots of water. Try to eat healthy. Prioritize your health because it affects you more than you realize. Tip number 8 is reward yourself for the small victories. Acknowledge your efforts and the little achievements. I think it's really easy to get down on yourself or just feel just bad when you're like super busy and you're super stressed out and you're just upset and you feel like you're not getting everything done, you're not doing enough, when really you're doing your best, you're trying your best, and it's hard when you have so many things on your plate. Just be kind to yourself and acknowledge the little victories, things that I like to do to kind of like celebrate when I finish something. Like, let yourself have a little break, let yourself have a glass of wine, and give yourself one night off. Like, throw yourself a bone is basically what I'm saying. Otherwise you're gonna burn out and you're just gonna be so upset and so unhappy for the entire semester, and that's wasted time. Don't waste any of your time being unhappy. Tip number 9 is to reevaluate your priorities, because when it comes down to it, sometimes you really just can't do everything. Sometimes you really do just have too much on your plate to handle, and some of them might not need to be there anymore, or some of them you might just have to give up for that semester until you have time for them again. I know that's not what anyone wants to hear, but sometimes you just need to accept that. Like last semester when I was literally dying because I had so much, I was so busy, I was out of my mind, I just had to let some things go that weren't that important to me and just took up too much of my time. And my last tip is kind of weird coming from me if you know me, but take the B. It's okay. Or whatever your equivalent of getting a B is. To me, I've always been a straight A student, so getting a B kind of feels like the end of the world. It also kind of feels like accepting defeat, like, no, I refuse. But when you have like 6 classes and 2 jobs and a hobby that takes up a lot of your time and friends and your health and a social life, getting a slightly lesser than great or lesser than average grade in one class is not gonna kill you. And sometimes you just have to acknowledge that when you have so many things on your plate, you're not gonna be able to give everything 100% like you would normally. You just don't have enough time in the day, and it's not worth the extra stress and the extra grief that you're causing yourself. So if you have to take the B, or the metaphorical B, whatever that means for you, it's okay. You can forgive yourself acknowledge that you've been really, really busy and you've had a lot going on, and it would be unreasonable to expect perfection from yourself in every area of your life. So yeah, those are my tips on how to survive a very busy college semester. I have no idea what that noise was, I was sorry. Hopefully some of these were helpful. Let me know down in the comments if you have any other tips that you would like to add. I'd be super interested to know. Don't forget to go check out Study Amino if you're interested. I'll have the link down below in the description. And if you liked this video, if you found it helpful, I'd appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up. It helps out my channel a lot, and maybe subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I put up at least 2 or 3 new videos every single week. And I think that's just about it. So I'll just see you guys in my next video very, very soon. Bye.
So hit me. So hit me. So hit me. First a confession. With you, I feel a connection. With you, it's